Patience allows you to breathe, to trust the process, and to stay focused on what you can do in the present moment. And in this present moment, you discover that you have more power than you thought, the power to learn, to adapt, to forgive yourself, and to keep moving forward with a calm determination. This determination is not loud or dramatic, it is quiet and steady, the kind that shows up every day, the kind that keeps you going even when motivation fades, the kind that reminds you that progress is built through consistency and self-respect. With each step, you become more connected to your inner guidance, the part of you that knows when to rest, when to try again, and when to let go, and this connection helps you trust yourself more deeply, knowing that you are capable of navigating your own life with wisdom, patience, and the growing confidence that you are truly becoming stronger than your fears and more secure in the direction you are choosing to walk. As this journey continues, you begin to feel a quiet shift in the way you look at your own story, because you no longer see it only through the lens of what went wrong, but also through the strength it took to survive, to learn, and to keep moving forward, and this change in perspective is powerful, because it allows you to honor yourself for the effort you have made, even when the results were not perfect, even when the path was unclear, and even when your heart felt tired. You start to understand that resilience is built in those moments when you chose not to give up, when you chose to reflect instead of react, and when you chose to grow instead of stay stuck, and these choices, though they may have felt small at the time, have been shaping a much stronger and wiser version of you. You also begin to realize that your emotions are not obstacles, they are messengers, and when you listen to them with patience instead of judgment, they guide you toward what needs healing, what needs attention, and what needs to be released. This listening creates space inside you, space for calm, for clarity, and for self-compassion, and in this space, your mind becomes less crowded with fear and more open to possibility. You start trusting that even if the future is uncertain, you are not unprepared, because you have already learned how to face uncertainty, how to adapt, and how to find balance within yourself. This trust allows you to move forward with a steady heart, knowing that you do not have to control everything to be okay, you only have to stay present, aware, and willing to learn. And as you walk with this awareness, you may notice that your confidence is no longer dependent on constant success, but on your ability to keep going with patience and integrity, and this kind of confidence is deep, because it is rooted in self-respect, in the knowledge that you are doing your best with what you know, and that you are becoming stronger not by avoiding challenges, but by facing them with understanding, courage, and a calm belief that every step you take is helping you grow into the person you are meant to become. You move into this next phase of your growth, you begin to feel a deeper connection with your own inner voice, the one that speaks quietly but honestly, the one that guides you when the world becomes noisy and confusing, and you start to trust this voice more than the fears that once tried to control your decisions. You realize that intuition is built from experience, from lessons learned, and from the awareness you have developed through both success and struggle, and when you listen to it, you feel more aligned with yourself, more certain about the direction you are taking, even if the destination is not fully clear yet. This alignment brings a sense of peace, because you no longer feel like you are constantly fighting against yourself or forcing your way through life. Instead, you feel like you are flowing with your own growth, allowing change to happen naturally and with understanding. You begin to notice that your priorities become clearer, that what truly matters to you stands out more strongly, and that what once distracted or discouraged you starts to lose its hold on your mind. This clarity helps you focus your energy on what builds you up rather than what drains you, on what teaches you rather than what traps you. In old patterns. With this focus, your confidence becomes more stable, because it is no longer based on external validation, but on the inner knowing that you are learning, evolving, and doing your best to move forward with honesty and effort. You start to feel grateful for the challenges that once seemed unfair, because you can now see how they strengthened your patience, deepened your understanding, and prepared you for situations that require calm and maturity. This gratitude does not erase the pain of the past, but it transforms it into wisdom, allowing you to carry your experiences without being weighed down by them. And as you continue on this path, you feel a growing sense of trust in life itself, not because you believe everything will always be easy, but because you believe you will be able to handle whatever comes with greater awareness, steadiness, and self-belief, knowing that each step you take with intention and patience is bringing you closer to a future that reflects your inner strength, your resilience, and your quiet determination to keep becoming better than you were before. As this understanding continues to grow, you start to feel a shift in the way you look at challenges, because instead of seeing them as signs that something is wrong with you or your life, you begin to see them as opportunities to become wiser, stronger, and more prepared for what lies ahead. And this change in perspective slowly transforms the way you experience difficulties, making them feel less like obstacles and more like lessons that are shaping your character. You realize that every time you face something uncomfortable and still remain calm, every time you face uncertainty and still choose patience, you are building a level of inner stability that no external situation can easily shake. This stability does not come from having everything under control, it comes from trusting yourself to handle whatever comes, and this trust creates a deep sense of security within you, because you no longer feel completely dependent on perfect conditions to feel okay. You begin to understand that your worth is not measured by how smooth your life looks from the outside, but by how honestly you try, how sincerely you learn, and how gently you treat yourself during difficult moments. With this awareness, you become more compassionate toward your own struggles, realizing that it is normal to feel unsure sometimes, to feel tired sometimes, and to feel confused sometimes, and that with this understanding, you feel more committed to nurturing your growth, to choosing habits that support your well-being, and to staying aligned with your values, even when it requires patience and effort. And as you continue to move forward, you carry with you the awareness that every day is an opportunity to learn, to improve, and to become a little stronger and wiser than you were before, and this awareness brings a deep sense of purpose, reminding you that your journey is meaningful, that your efforts matter, and that you are truly capable of creating a future that reflects your inner strength, your resilience, and your steady belief in your own potential. To awareness, to return to responsibility, and to return to the part of yourself that knows you are capable of more than avoidance, more than excuses, and more than fear. More whole, not because everything is perfect, but because you are learning to accept yourself as you are while still believing in who you are becoming, and this balance between acceptance and growth is the quiet strength that carries you through uncertainty, reminding you that you are not lost, you are learning, not failing, you are evolving. opportunity, greater influence, and a life shaped deliberately rather than accidentally. This is not an exaggerated promise, it is the natural outcome of behavior repeated consistently over time. Continue clicking forward, continue acting with intention, continue honoring your decisions, and allow discipline to quietly deliver what motivation never could: stability, strength, clarity, control, and a future built by choice rather than chance. You are stronger than your fears, braver than your doubts, and capable of creating a better future starting from today. And this is not just a motivational line, this is the truth of your life that you may not have fully realized yet, because if you look back, you will see that you have already faced things you once thought you would never survive. You have carried pain you once believed would break you, and yet you are still here, still breathing, still trying, still hoping, and this itself is proof that there is a strength inside you that is far greater than the fears that try to control your mind. Fear often speaks loudly. It tells you that you are not ready, that you are not good enough, that you will fail again, that the future will be the same as the past. But fear is only a voice created by uncertainty, not a fact, and doubts are only thoughts, not destiny. And when you begin to understand this, you begin to take back your power, slowly, gently, but surely. You start to see that every time you were afraid and still moved forward, you were brave. Every time you doubted yourself and still tried, you were courageous. And every time life pushed you down and you still stood up, you were stronger than you ever imagined. Your journey has not been easy, and it was never meant to be, because easy paths do not build strong minds and strong hearts. Challenges do, struggles do, and moments of confusion do, and through all of that, you have been growing, even when you did not notice it, even when you felt stuck, even when you felt lost. Growth is often silent. It happens in the way you think now compared to before, in the way you react now compared to before, in the way you understand life now compared to before. You are no longer the same person who once felt helpless. You are more aware, more patient, more understanding, and more capable than you give yourself credit for. Bravery does not mean the absence of fear. It means choosing to move forward even when fear is present, and you have been doing that all along, every single day, by waking up, by facing your responsibilities, by trying again, by not giving up on yourself completely. And now, this moment, today, is not just another day, it is a turning point. Because today you can decide to stop letting your fears decide your future. Today you can decide to stop letting your doubts define your worth. Today you can decide to trust yourself, even if you are not perfect, even if you are still learning, even if you are still healing. A better future does not begin when everything becomes perfect. It begins when you choose to think differently, when you choose to believe that change is possible, when you choose to take small steps instead of waiting for big miracles. It begins when you speak kindly to yourself instead of harshly, when you encourage yourself instead of criticizing, when you see your mistakes as lessons instead of failures. Every small choice you make today shapes the life you will live tomorrow. And when you start choosing hope over fear, effort over excuses, and patience over panic, your life slowly begins to change from the inside out. You may not see instant results, but you will feel a difference in your heart, a sense of calm, a sense of direction, a sense that you are finally moving forward instead of just surviving. You are capable of learning new things, of building new habits, of creating new opportunities, and of becoming a stronger, wiser, and more confident version of yourself. Your past does not limit you, it only teaches you. Your fears do not define you, they only test you, and your doubts do not control you, they only challenge you to grow. And as you move forward from today, remember this: you do not have to become someone else, you only have to become more of who you truly are, more aware, more patient, more brave, and more trusting of your own journey. Step by step, day by day, thought by thought, you are creating a better future, not by force, not by fear, but by faith in yourself and by the quiet courage to keep going, even when the road is unclear, even when the pace is slow, because deep inside, you already have everything you need to rise, to grow, and to become the person you are meant to be. In the next flow of this message, you start to feel how your inner strength is no longer something you have to search for, because it is slowly becoming something you can rely on, something that stays with you even when situations are uncertain, and you begin to notice that the same things that once made you anxious now only make you thoughtful, the same problems that once made you panic now only make you pause and reflect, and this change is not small. It is the sign that your mind is learning to stay calm and your heart is learning to stay steady, and with this steadiness comes a new kind of confidence, not the loud kind that needs approval, but the quiet kind that knows its own value, and this confidence allows you to move forward without constantly doubting every step you take, because you start trusting that even if you make mistakes, you can learn from them, even if things do not go as planned, you can adapt. And even if the road becomes difficult, you can endure, and this trust in yourself slowly replaces the old habit of fear, and you realize that fear was never meant to stop you, it was only meant to warn you, and once you learn the difference, you stop letting it control your life and start using it as a signal to become more aware, more prepared, and more focused. You also begin to understand that doubts are not signs of weakness, they are signs that you care about your future, that you want to make the right choices, and when you stop fighting your doubts and instead listen to what they are trying to teach you, you gain clarity, you learn what matters to you, what you want to improve, and what you need to let go of, and this clarity gives you direction. And direction gives you peace, because you no longer feel completely lost, you feel like someone who is learning the map of their own life step by step. As this awareness grows, you become kinder to yourself, you stop blaming yourself for every delay, you stop judging yourself for every mistake, and you start seeing your journey as a process of becoming, not a test you are constantly failing. And this shift in perspective is powerful, because it frees your mind from unnecessary pressure and allows your energy to be used for growth instead of worry. You start to live more in the present, appreciating small progress, small victories, and small moments of calm, understanding that they are all part of building a better future. And with every day that you choose patience over frustration, understanding over anger, and effort over excuses, you are proving to yourself that you truly are stronger than your fears, braver than your doubts, and fully capable of creating a future that feels more stable, more meaningful, and more aligned with who you are. As you continue deeper into this journey, you begin to realize that the strength you are building is not just emotional, it is mental and spiritual as well. It is the kind of strength that allows you to stay calm when life is uncertain, to stay hopeful when outcomes are unclear, and to stay steady when your past tries to pull you back into old patterns. and this is where real transformation happens, not outside, but inside, in the way you see yourself and the way you see your future. You start to understand that your fears were never a sign that you were weak, they were a sign that you cared, that you wanted to protect yourself from pain, from failure, from disappointment, but now you are learning that protection does not always mean avoiding, sometimes it means facing, learning, and growing stronger through experience. You begin to see that every time you chose to try again after a setback, every time you chose to believe even when things looked difficult, every time you chose patience over giving up, you were quietly proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you once believed. This realization builds a deep sense of self-respect, because you no longer see yourself as someone who is always struggling, but as someone who is always learning, adapting, and becoming wiser. You stop looking at your journey as a series of mistakes and start seeing it as a series of lessons that shaped your character, your understanding, and your resilience. With this new perspective, the future no longer feels like a threat. It feels like an open space where you can apply everything you have learned, where you can make better choices, where you can create healthier patterns, and where you can move forward with more awareness and confidence. You begin to trust that even if the path is not clear right now, clarity will come with time and effort, and even if the progress feels slow, it is still progress, and it is still taking you somewhere meaningful. This trust brings peace, because it reminds you that you do not have to rush your growth or compare your journey with anyone else, you only have to stay committed to your own process. And in this commitment, you find a quiet power, the power to stay focused, to stay hopeful, and to keep moving forward, knowing that every step you take with sincerity and patience is shaping a stronger present and a brighter future, and that you truly are becoming someone who is not controlled by fear or doubt anymore, but guided by understanding, self-belief, and the steady confidence that comes from knowing you are capable of creating the life you want, one thoughtful choice at a time. As this understanding continues to grow, you start to feel a shift in the way you look at challenges, because instead of seeing them as signs that something is wrong with you or your life, you begin to see them as opportunities to become wiser, stronger, and more prepared for what lies ahead, and this change in perspective slowly transforms the way you experience difficulties, making them feel less like obstacles and more like lessons that are shaping your character. You realize that every time you face something uncomfortable and still remain calm, every time you face uncertainty and still choose patience, you are building a level of inner stability that no external situation can easily shake. This stability does not come from having everything under control, it comes from trusting yourself to handle whatever comes, and this trust creates a deep sense of security within you, because you no longer feel completely dependent on perfect conditions to feel okay. You begin to understand that your worth is not measured by how smooth your life looks from the outside, but by how honestly you try, how sincerely you learn, and how gently you treat yourself during difficult moments. With this awareness, you become more compassionate toward your own struggles, realizing that it is normal to feel unsure sometimes, to feel tired sometimes, and to feel confused sometimes, and that these feelings do not make you weak, they make you human. Instead of judging yourself for them, you start listening to what they are trying to teach you, and through this listening, you gain clarity about what you need, what you value, and what kind of future you truly want to build. You stop chasing quick results and start appreciating steady progress, knowing that real change happens gradually, through consistent effort and mindful choices. This patience allows you to stay focused on your own path, without constantly comparing your journey with others, because you understand that everyone grows at their own pace and in their own way. As you continue moving forward with this mindset, you may notice that your confidence becomes more grounded, your thoughts more balanced, and your emotions more manageable, and this balance helps you face life with a calm determination, a quiet belief that no matter what comes, you will learn from it, grow through it, and use it to become an even stronger version of yourself, someone who is not ruled by fear or doubt, but guided by awareness, resilience, and a steady faith in their own ability to create a future that feels meaningful and true. As you move into this next stage of awareness, you begin to notice that your relationship with yourself is slowly changing, because you are no longer fighting your own thoughts and emotions, you are learning to understand them, and this understanding brings a deep sense of acceptance, the kind that allows you to be honest about where you are without feeling ashamed, and hopeful about where you are going without feeling unrealistic. You start to see that your past does not have to be a burden you carry, it can be a source of wisdom that guides you, and your mistakes do not have to be scars you hide, they can be lessons that strengthen your character. With this mindset, you become more patient with your progress, knowing that growth is not always visible from one day to the next, but it is always happening when you stay committed to learning and improving. You begin to trust that every effort you make, no matter how small it seems, is contributing to a larger change within you, shaping your habits, your thinking, and your sense of direction. This trust gives you the courage to keep going even when results are slow, because you understand that consistency is more powerful than speed, and sincerity is more important than perfection. You also start to realize that your future is not something you have to fear, it is something you can prepare for by strengthening your mind, caring for your emotions, and staying true to your values. With each day, you become a little more aware, a little more grounded, and a little more confident in your ability to face life with calm and clarity. And in this calm, you find a steady motivation, not driven by pressure or comparison, but by a genuine desire to become a better version of yourself, someone who responds with understanding instead of panic, with patience instead of frustration, and with hope instead of doubt, knowing that this steady inner growth is the foundation on which a peaceful and meaningful future is built. As you continue forward, this growing self-understanding starts to reflect in the way you handle your daily life, because you are no longer reacting only from old fears or automatic habits, you are responding with awareness, and this awareness gives you a sense of control that is calm, not forced, steady, not anxious. You begin to notice that situations that once drained your energy now only ask for your attention, not your peace, and this is a powerful shift, because it means you are learning to protect your inner world without closing your heart. You realize that strength is not about becoming hard, it is about becoming balanced, able to feel deeply without being overwhelmed, able to care without losing yourself, and able to face challenges without letting them define your identity. This balance helps you make clearer decisions,